Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV. As always, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you taking your time out to watch the video and interacting with the video as well. So, the third ODI is up on us, the series decider, the tiebreaker is here. And it's a very important match for the West Indies, very important that we win, an ODI series, especially a home series. So we're going to be looking at the starting 11 for the West Indies team for this one, and also taking a look at a few results from the Super 50 from matches that were played yesterday. See where Guyana got their first victory of the competition, and the Jamaica Scorpions, also won their match as well. So I'm going to be sharing the details of that with you as well, and giving you the updated point standings in the Super 50. But before I get into the details of the video, would really appreciate if you take a few seconds just to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new, or for whatever reason you have not subscribed to the channel as yet. So just take a few seconds to do that as a pause. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into the details, right? And I'll be starting with the third ODI. So like I mentioned earlier, the third ODI is series decider, in the ODI series between West Indies and England. West Indies winning the first one, and then England, on the back of a brilliant batting performance, especially by Liam Livingstone, and some poor bowling and fielding by the West Indies, were able to take home the second ODI. So let's look at now the starting 11 that the West Indies will use, or more than likely use, for the third ODI. So firstly, if you think about where the team needs to improve, especially coming from the second ODI, then you definitely know that it's in the bowling, right? Because the batters did their part, scoring 328 runs, right? But the bowlers weren't able to restrict England, right? So I do expect changes to be made in the bowling department, right? In the batting department, not so much, but I would not be surprised if maybe one or two changes, or maybe a change is made, but I highly doubt it, right? So my starting 11 would be this, right? And I want you to share the starting 11 that you would go with in the comment section as well, right? So I would go with Evan Lewis, of course, to open, and alongside him would still be Brandon King. When you look at the squad, even though Brandon King, he's somewhat struggled in the series so far. He did score 30-something in the first ODI, but didn't score it at a fast pace and didn't score much in the second one. There aren't really any other openers in the squad to replace a Brandon King. So Brandon King keeps his spot in the lineup for me, opening with Evan Lewis. At number 3, Casey Carter remains at number 3 as well. Scored a half century in the second ODI, in that brilliant partnership with Captain Shai, right? So he's in some decent form. So Casey Carter is still at 3. At number 4 is Captain Fantastic Shai, of course. Hopefully he can continue on in the vein of form that he's in, coming off the back of his brilliant 117 in the second ODI. Number 5 also remains the same with Sheriffin Rutherford, Mr. Reliable, scoring another half century in the second ODI, right? This is his 4th consecutive half century now, in innings that he's actually batted. He didn't get an opportunity to bat in the first ODI, but, as long as he's batted coming from the Sri Lanka series, he scored a half century. So he remains in the number 5 position. Shimron Hetmyer comes in at number 6 for me as well, right? Had a short cameo in the second ODI. Would have loved to see him stay longer at the crease, right? But, there were definitely positive signs, positive things to be taken from the way Shimron Hetmyer batted for the short time that he was at the crease. I would have loved if he had been a bit more conservative, especially against Adil Rashid, who is a strike bowler for England, right? And who's also had the upper hand on him, over him, in their matchups, regardless of whether it's in international cricket or franchise cricket. So I would have definitely liked to see him take a bit more caution when batting against Adil Rashid. But, nevertheless, it was a good cameo. So Hetmyer definitely retains his place because we know what he can do. He definitely showed glimpses of that in the match. So Hetmyer keeps his place in the lineup for me at number 6. Rastan Chase as well. His all-round ability. He was actually one of our best bowlers in the second ODI in a match where the bowling, took some heavy blows, some heavy hits. Rastan Chase was somewhat economical, for the team, and kind of restricted the English batsman a bit, right? So his bowling definitely played a huge part in keeping us in the game, right? And you know, that 20 or 22 balls that he scored in the back end of the innings, you know, a bit slow for me, but you know, wicket preservation is also important. And the other batsmen at the other end, especially Matthew Ford, you know, was scoring fast, right? So it was still a valuable innings for the team. So Rastan Chase is at number 7. Matthew Ford keeps his place in the lineup for me. So in both matches so far, you know, he has been one of our best bowlers as well, and he showed what his capabilities with the bat in the second ODI, right? You know, scoring, I think it was 23, a quick fire 23, I think, right? So he's shown that he's capable of doing what we know Romario Shepherd can do with the bat in the lineup. And in terms of bowling, you know, he's definitely bowling better than Romario Shepherd, right? So I see no reason to drop Matthew Ford for the third ODI. So he remains in the lineup for me, right? Gudakesh Moti, of course, you know, being our lead spinner, didn't have the best match in the second ODI, but you know, he keeps his place. You know, there's definitely no dropping off Moti, you know, in from the squad. So Moti at 9. Now the 10 and 11 positions now is where it gets a bit tricky, right? With Jaden Seals and Shamar Joseph occupy those positions in the second ODI, both of whom were very expensive, right? Like I said, the bowling needs improvement, and if you compare the first ODI to the second ODI, especially the second ODI in the back end of the innings, you know, where I think the team struggled was the lack of experience especially in the depth overs, right? And I think that's where they missed Alzarri a bit, even though Alzarri himself has been expensive, but that experience, you know, of playing all over the world in various franchise leagues, you know, bowling in the back end of the innings, you know, that was definitely lacking in the second ODI. And it's for that reason why I do think Alzarri Joseph will come back into the lineup, right? Replacing, who does he replace now is the question. Does he replace Shamar Joseph or Jaden Seals? For me, seeing the fact that Shamar Joseph was the one that replaced him in the second ODI, I would bring Alzarri Joseph back in the team as a replacement for Shamar Joseph, right? Jaden Seals had a terrible outing in the second ODI, but in the first ODI he bowled well, right? And it's just for that reason why I give Jaden Seals the edge over Shamar Joseph for this third ODI. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if Jaden is dropped and Shamar remains in the squad, in the lineup. But for me personally, I would play Jaden Seals over Shamar Joseph just because he bowled well in the first ODI, right? So that would be my playing 11. So again, just to go over it quickly before I move on to the next topic, it would be Brandon King, Evan Lewis, of course, Casey Carty, Shea Hope, Sherford Rutherford, Shimron Hetmyer, Rastan Chase, Matthew Ford, Gudakesh Moti, Alzarri Joseph, and Jaden Seals. That's my starting 11 for the third ODI. Definitely share your starting 11 in the comment section as well, and definitely let me know what if you agree with the starting 11 that I would go with. Moving on now to the Super 50. So there were 2 matches played yesterday in the Super 50. We had the Jamaica Scorpions going up against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. You know, it was a rain-affected match. The Scorpions batted first in this one, and they looked good. They started out good, and they got to 150. I think 150, 155, 150 something before the rains came in and delayed the game for quite a bit. So the match was ended up being reduced to a 30-over match, right? And because the Scorpions were already at 150 something, you know, when the rains came. When the Leeward Islands needed 206 to win off 30 overs, you know, based on Duckworth Lewis and their calculations, right? And they were bowled out for 100 and the Windward Islands needed 206 to win, and they were bowled out for 186. Right. So scores in the match for the Scorpions. We do have Kurt McKenzie scoring a half century. Right. He made 59 not out. This is McKenzie's second half century in the tournament. So good to see that McKenzie is in some form. You know, John Campbell, you know, who is the captain of the team, you know, he made a 41 or 49. You know, and they were the top scorers for the Scorpions in their innings. For the Windward Islands, it was Sunil Ambris, who is the captain as well. He made 59, and Kavem Hodge making 36 off 20, and Shamar Springer made 37 from 35, right? But that wasn't enough to help the Windward Islands get over the total, right? For the Scorpions, the pace of Marquino Minley, he took 4 for 33 from 6 overs, with Odin Smith and Tamari Redwood both taking two wickets as well to lead the Scorpions to victory. In the second match of the day, we saw the Leeward Islands going up against the Guyana Harpy Eagles, right? And also a rain affected match. So this match was reduced to a 41 over per side game. And the Leeward Islands batted first, and they were bowled out for 139, right? Justin Greaves, his streak of consecutive centuries was finally ended. You know, he was only able to get to 27 in this one, right? 27 off 30. Raheem Cornwall, the captain, he made 36 from 33, and Jeremiah Lowe was 34, not out for the in the Leeward Islands Hurricanes innings of 139. The Amazon, the Harpy Eagles in reply got to 141 for 2, right? To win by 8 wickets and securing their first victory in the tournament so far. Matthew Nandu, you know, he made 50 from 74, and Tevin Imlak, captain, he made 69 not out from 76, and they were the main contributors in the innings for the Harpy Eagles in their victory over the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, right? So updating now the standings, you know, after those results. So we still have the Barbados, Barbados leading the standings on 12 points from 3 matches. Having Barbados are also still the only undefeated team. In second, then we have 3 teams on 8 points, right? So 3 teams have won 2 and lost 1. So we have Trinidad, they're on 8 in second with a superior run rate to the Jamaica Scorpions, who are also on 8 in third. And the Leeward Islands also on 8 points in fourth, you know, having won 2 matches and lost 2 matches, right? In fifth, we have the Guyana Harpy Eagles on 6 points. And in 6th are the Windward Islands on 4 points from 3 matches, having won 1 and lost 2 matches. Also on 4 points is the West Indies Academy, you know, having won 1 and lost 2 matches as well. And in 8th position are the combined colleges and campuses, yet to secure a victory. They're on 2 points from 3 matches. With a no result, they're only points on the board so far. So that's it. That's the update I have for you as it relates to the Super 50 and the West Indies playing 11 for the 3rd ODI. But as always, definitely thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. And do remember to like the video, share your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. As always, thank you, and I will see you in the next video.